George, can you hear us?
Loud and clear. Okay, we can start whenever you're ready.
Do they have a quorum? Yeah.
Are we ready?
Who's in attendance and do we have a quorum?
Is Binghamton leaving yet?
Yes, it looks like we have a quorum on both sides.
All righty. Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name's Elliot Wagner. I am the superintendent of the Binghamton and Johnson City Joint Sewage Treatment Plant. I'd like to thank both mayor, city council, village trustees, and the board for the opportunity to present the 2023 proposed budget. I'd also like to introduce Billy Goodson, who is our business manager. She will be taking us through the budget line by line. I would ask that if you have questions about any of the line items, please bring them up as we are talking about that line item, so as not to confuse anyone. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Billy Goodson.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to present the proposed 2023 budget for joint wastewater treatment plant. Like Elliot said, I would appreciate it if we could stay on point. We're going to go through this line by line, ask questions as we go through those lines. We're going to start with the personal services salary line. On page 10. Thank you, Ed. For the personal services salaried line, we have a proposed budget of $776,594. This amount is based on a 3.9% increase for salaried employees. The number that we are requesting is based on the union contract of 2.5% and CPI based on plus based on a 3-year moving average. That average won't be available to us until after January 1st of 2023. So January 15th of 2023. So that was our estimate at this point with the increase that we've seen so far this year. Moving on to the personal services hourly line, we have a proposed budget of $2,171,680. This amount is based on this 2.5% increase that is in the CSEA contract.
It's 2.5 plus the CPI.
No, it's not. Salary adjustment.
Oh, salary.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
For the salary adjustment, salaried employees, there's nothing proposed in that line. Salary adjustment hourly is $25,501. That includes the increase projected for the CPI. Okay, we're now moving to page 11. It's the second line of page 11. Moving on to hourly overtime. Our proposed budget is $67,000. Next, we have the equipment and capital outlay, proposed budget $22,000. Office equipment, $1,000. Furniture, $700. For our hardware, software line, we're requesting $20,000. Key systems, $1,000. Safety equipment, $18,000. Moving on to page 12. Counting services.
Sorry to interrupt. This is Councilmember Friedman. If we do have questions, should we stop you or should we wait for you to pause and then ask our questions?
You can stop and ask.
Okay, thanks. I was just wondering, under the hardware software line, what is that $1,800 for other? Is that like unforeseen hardware or
yes.
software?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Back to page 12. Debt services for City of Binghamton. We have a proposed budget of $6,038,333. Debt services for Village of Johnson City, $5,263,655. Office supplies, $8,000. Printing, $3,000. Gasoline and diesel, $39,500. Lubricants, $12,000. Building and ground supplies, $18,000. Laboratory supplies, $86,000. Chemicals, $1,810,000.
It's Marty Maney. I got a question on the chemicals. Will that change once the system is back up 100%?
We can't hear over somebody's phone.
Can you repeat that question?
Yeah, on the chemicals, will that change? Will that come down once the plant is back up 100%?
No,
No.
Okay.
Breakdown is on there.
Okay. Yeah.
This is Councilmember Friedman. I also have a question on the chemicals line. I know that lately the prices of chemicals have increased a lot, and we've had to do some budget transfers to account for that. And I'm wondering if this calculation of $1,810,000 was taking the increased prices into account, or are we foreseeing that those prices will eventually go back down and this is maybe just a bubble?
so we've taken into consideration the increase in the chemical lines, and through understanding the system and maximizing the efficiency of our use of the chemicals, based on our process testing, we've been able to reduce the amount that we use. We feel pretty comfortable with the amount in this budget line.
Okay, thank you.
Also, Councilwoman, please keep in mind that a lot of these chemicals are via contracts that are bid out for terms of up to 3 years. And the price is locked in. So it's not like a spot price, like when somebody goes and fills up a car or a truck with fuel at a gas station.
And those prices are set at the beginning of the fiscal year, is that correct?
Based on the
No.
cycle of the contract.
It's the cycle of the contract. Right now, we've experienced a increase in the methanol. cost to $2.09 potentially, or $2.03.
3 cents.
So based on what the board decides, it could go up. You know, what are we looking at? 14 cents a gallon? So we're talking 316,000 gallons over the course of a year. In a wet year, we might suffer. In a dry year, we'll be ahead of the game. It's just really difficult to pin down what the flow will be coming into the plant. And that's how we base our methanol use.
Okay. So this is an estimate based on the fact that you have been able to increase the efficiency and decrease the amount of the chemicals used, and based on the prices that we're predicting will be locked in at the beginning of the contract cycle. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, so tomorrow we have a board meeting, and we'll be asking the board to accept a bid from SPS, I believe, is the chemical supplier for methanol. They won the bid. So we can take either a 1-year or a 6-month bid from them. And their price changes according to how long the bid is. It's about 5 cents swing per gallon, I believe. Last year we did pretty good. Methanol pricing went up and we were still paying less than what the pricing was. So on any given year, this can change. And I can't predict what the board will decide on which contract to go with, the 6-month or 12-month.
Okay.
So it's our best guess.
We do track, I don't know if you can see this on the screen, the producer price index for chemicals. And at the present time, since about May of 2021, it's been in a downward cycle, chemicals on average. So this is something that we had up on the website during our budget preparation process.
Okay, well, I hope it continues to go down. Thank you for explaining that to me. I appreciate it.
Are there any more questions? Okay, moving on. We're on page 13. Protective clothing, proposed budget $34,000. Gas and heat, $210,000. Electricity, $850,000. Electricity for plant pump station, $75,000. Electricity for terminal pump station, $70,000. Telephone, fax, internet, $25,000. Water, $140,000. Top of page 14, insurance, $350,000.
Yeah, it's Marty Maney again. When's the last time we had our insurance bid and quoted? Anybody quote it?
That was just recently, right?
These policies are put out to bid every year by the agent.
No. When's the last time we had another agency? Who are we using now?
For the
Property, casualty, and flood.
Taylor, Fryer, and Kuhn. For the flood insurance, it's Brown and Brown.
Okay, but so this was within a year that these two agents had requests for quotes?
Right. They quote the mark. They go to the market and get bids.
I understand that. I understand quoting the market. My question is, when's the last time you had other agencies come in to offer different prices? whether it's Taylor, Fryer and Kuhn, Brown and Brown, Marabito, what's the other one in Vestal, Harding and Brooks. When have they come in to give proposals to the sewer board?
The last time that an RFP for the agency for the commercial was advertised, I believe, was back before the construction started. And during the construction, it was a decision not to advertise. So that's something that might going forward be looked at again by the board. But I can't
Yeah.
predict.
I
Makes
would,
sense to do it to me.
suggest doing that sooner than later because there might be a cost savings there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, professional services, $137,450. Board member services, $43,000.
Can I ask a question on that again, on the board member services? If it's, why does it say up to 7,300? But yet you've only budgeted $35,000 for the 5 positions. Shouldn't that be a little bit more than that? 36,500?
How many meetings you attend?
Nobody meets that their quota. You might have a couple of them that meets it or exceeds it, but most of the time, there are a few board members that cannot commit to those meetings. We get paid for each separate meeting we go to.
I understand that, Mr. Chairman. I was just wondering why you wouldn't budget the full amount if it's up to 7,300, that's all.
Well, we just turned around and put that figure in because it can happen that way. It's not like the money goes anyplace, it stays right there if we don't draw it out.
No, I understand. I just thought the 36,500 would have been a better number, that's all. Thank you.
Just
This
as
is-
an example, for 2021, the expenditure was 29,200 for the whole board for the year. For 2020, it was $29,900. So.
But
Yeah,
you're
we do-
proposing
we
an
do have
increase
some
this year
history.
for the budget, right? For the board?
Yes.
This is Councilmember Friedman. I also had a question about this. So the chairman, it says up to $8,000, but in this other document that says description of stipend computation for board members, the chairman is listed at up to $7,950. And it's only a difference of $50, but I'm wondering why there's that discrepancy there.
I donated the 50 back. No, just kidding.
There's probably a rounding difference between the two documents.
Okay.
This is Marty Maney again. Trustee Giblin he dialed in and he's muted. He can't ask the question. He asked me if I could ask a question on the insurance. If you're anticipating an increase because of the latest claim.
And I think part of the reason there's an increase on this line has to do with the increase in value that's insured. Also the flood insurance requirements, which is going to increase the number of buildings that we cover, and there's a cost associated with that, which we hope eventually, we haven't had any final integrated turnover from the lead agency yet, but we hope to be able to go through FEMA and the map revision process to have the area inside the flood wall at the joint sewage plant taken out of the floodplain, which would significantly decrease the cost of flood insurance for the buildings on the site.
Thank you.
Can be a lengthy process.
Absolutely. We're still here. Can you hear us?
Yes,
Okay,
All right.
it's just
Yeah,
a
it's, they're.
phone
increasing.
icon that popped up on the screen and we thought somehow we got lost.
No, I'm here. I actually was able to unmute. So thanks. This is Trustee Giblin, Ed.
Okay,
I was more asking the question with the this latest claim and the flood that we had at the plant. Has your current broker given you any ideas of an increase because of that claim? I understand that you just switched over to Travelers.
There has been no indication at this point. For reference, last year's budget was $315,000, so we did put an increase in for this year.
Got it. I would just find it hard to believe with that large of a claim. I mean, I know there could be subrogation and things down the road, but yeah, I would find it very surprising if there wasn't a pretty substantial increase.
Yeah.
if they don't cancel.
Thank you. Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to legal services. Proposed budget $50,000. Payroll services, $12,000. Emergency confined space rescue services, $4,600. Laboratory services, $88,000. Vehicle repair, $35,500. Equipment lease rental, $15,000. Building equipment improvement and maintenance, $8,400. Equipment repairs and maintenance, $26,500. Equipment and pump repairs, mechanical, $110,000.
this Marty Maney again, the $110,000. The plant's essentially new. So why are we anticipating that much in equipment and pump repairs?
Mostly maintenance and then failures of any new equipment or any equipment that was not replaced as part of that upgrade. We have a lot of equipment here and buildings that were built in 1959, 1960. And we need to maintain that equipment and those buildings.
Thank you.
Equipment and pump repairs, electrical, $84,000. Equipment and pump repairs, safety, $4,000. Maintenance agreements, $220,693. We're on page 16. Travel and training, $27,500. Travel and training for the board, $2,000. Subscription dues and memberships, $3,300. Page 17, industrial pretreatment, $90,000. Permit fees and fines, $20,600. Sludge and waste disposal, $400,000. Page 18, contingency, $212,500. Moving on to page 19. We would like to walk in some revised numbers on these for state retirement and health insurance. We're requesting $95,466 for state retirement salaried employees. State retirement hourly employees, $258,283. I'm not sure, this information was emailed to City Council and Village of Johnson City this afternoon.
It's Marty Maney again. What's driving the increase? Did we get better projections from the state?
The state released their fiscal year 2024 rates on September 2nd, which is after our deadline to have submitted the budget, and we worked through those numbers. It's a huge increase that the state has this year after years of stability. It's 14% in some of the tiers.
Thank you, Ed.
Page 20, there are no changes to this line. Social Security salaried, $62,023. Social Security hourly, $178,456. Page 21, no changes. Workers' compensation salaried, $20,853. Workers' compensation hourly, $94,147. Page 22. Unemployment insurance hourly, $10,000. Disability insurance salaried, $87. We're on page 23. Disability insurance hourly, $116. Page 24, there are changes to the health insurance for salaried, hourly, and retirees on this page. Health insurance salaried revised to $148,746. Health insurance hourly revised to $486,282. Health insurance buyout salary, no change at $15,000. Health insurance buyout hourly, no change at $25,000. Health insurance retirees changed, revised to $121,606. Yeah.
The city negotiated a favorable rate on that compared to what the division of the Department of Financial Services for the state has awarded that.
Page 25, there are revisions to the sick time buyback and the vacation buyback. Sick time buyback salaried revised to $12,363. Sick time buyback hourly revised to $31,214. Vacation buyback salaried revised to $11,797. Vacation buyback hourly revised to $17,621. Moving on to page 26, transfer to capital projects. we're requesting an addition of $136,609.56. Our requests are listed below the transfer to capital line. If you have any questions on those.
Details are in here.
Yes.
Can I ask a question? My question is not on those. My question is, last year, a huge discussion point was the asset management program. I don't see that on here at all. I don't know what happened, what didn't happen. Could you talk about that? I don't know why it wouldn't even be mentioned. It was a huge point last year.
Right.
I don't even see it on here.
We were advised at the end of June that we're moving to an enterprise sewage line. So that's why you can't see what our 2022 budget was. And we're still waiting for guidance from the city of Binghamton on how the capital lines are going to be handled. We were asked to just put our request for capital in this line for this year. We still have those capital lines in Munis at this time. And like I said, we're waiting for guidance from the city of Binghamton to tell us what we're going to do, what's going to happen to those lines.
And it should be noted that our fiscal officer, City Comptroller Chuck Shager, is waiting for guidance from the state comptroller that he's asked for. So he's working on it too. It's apparently a process that the state comptroller's office may not have seen this type of organization before, and trying to fit it into an enterprise fund system may be challenging for them. The idea of this transition is to make the filing of, as I understand it, I might be wrong, and if anybody on this meeting has a better way to explain it, feel free to speak up, but there is a requirement that there is an AUD, annual update document, filed each year with the state comptroller for the joint sewage project as an enterprise. And the idea of this enterprise fund budget is to more closely track the line items that are reported in that AUD document, so that it's a little easier to prepare it in relation to the data that's already in the budget, rather than having to compute separate spreadsheets and take numbers from different places and put it together when you file the report.
Okay, that sounds more like logistics and software and stuff like that. I'm talking about that huge asset management plan that we were
Right.
going to apply for a grant from the DEC. We talking about the same thing?
Created a position. It's still Councilman Strawn, that it's still there in the budget. It's funded, but the grant hasn't gone forward yet. And so there, as a consequence of that, there's not enough funding right now to go out for a RFP on it in order to move forward. But it's still, it still needs to be done. It's a priority, to have that long-term. We certainly understand that, what happened to this plant on February 18th of 2022 has taken a lot of attention by a lot of people to get the plant back up and running. And from the board's perspective, we thank and commend our management employees and our line employees for all the work that they've done in the coordination and supervision of getting the plant back to where it is today. And the numbers that are being achieved for August, which will be reported at tomorrow's board meeting. And there's only so many hours in a day, and the emergency need of what happened in the winter has taken a front seat.
So did we apply at all for the grant that was available last year?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the
Did we
question.
apply for the grant that was available last year at all?
No, that was not done. But there's grants that come up from time to time, so it doesn't mean we're out of luck on
Elliot, it's Marty Maney again. I know we started on page 10. I got a question on page 9. Sewage collection system. And can you tell me how these numbers are arrived at?
Page 9,
Yes.
this is systems cost. No, I cannot tell you at all how that number is derived at.
All right, because it says City of Binghamton is 3.2 million and Village of Johnson City is 1.4 million. I was just wondering how those numbers came about.
This is Ed Crum, Finance Committee Chair. I'd like to point out that the information that was provided by Tom Johnson for the village actually comes out a little less than what was in our estimated budget. We didn't have his number until the day after we voted on the budget. And he is coming to a conclusion of $1,314,336 as being the 2023 number. That includes from the village figure for salaries that are associated with maintaining the collection system that transports not only the village's wastewater, but also wastewater that flows through the village, truck sewers from the town of Union, town of Dickinson, and also there may be some properties that are also connected from some neighboring municipalities. There's equipment, which is G8120.2 in the village budget. There's unallocated insurance, G1910.4 in the village budget at $20,000. There's contractual expenses in the village sewer fund, G8120.4, $569,793. And keeping in mind that the village is on a fiscal year system that goes from June 1st to May 31st. The numbers that Tom was able to provide us actuals on are in the current fiscal year. And then next year's fiscal year, there was an inflation adjustment that he made to the numbers, which he believes is accurate. There's also some debt service costs that the village has on its bonds and bans for its sewer infrastructure, including the combined sewer overflow structures by the park down there where the river crossing is. And so those are the numbers that go into the computation that was sent to us. We accept his numbers. He's been doing it for decades. And
No, I understand that. I just wondered, I've always heard about the split of the plant 45-55, and that is more like 2 to 1.
this is a reimbursement.
Right.
This local system cost reimburses the cost of the local collection system. And I believe that it's not a cost of the plant infrastructure. It's the infrastructure that the wastewater flows through. And I believe that the linear mileage of pipe in the village is substantially less than the linear mileage of pipe in the city sewer system, as well as the diameters. So I think that probably has something to do with it as well.
Thank you.
I should also note, with respect to the city, that number is just an estimate. That's 8% more than the current year, and the city has not come forward to the board with any proposed number towards 2023 local systems cost. And we've asked, but we just haven't gotten an answer, and we're told they're working on it. And I know people are working on things, but we're here tonight because, you know, we have deadlines because the outside users certainly need to know by the end of September what the joint sewage budget is so that they can figure out what their costs are going to be for next year.
Are they aware
Oh, yeah.
that there is a 1.55% decrease? So just for everyone's information, this budget for 2023 represents a 1.55% decrease
Decrease,
over the 2022 budget.
Under.
Yeah. Under the
With
2022
that,
budget.
your number, tell them your number reflects the changes.
Yep.
I'd like to thank the board for putting together a nice budget. Thank you for coming in under last year's budget. I just, for next year, when we go through this process, if it's possible, if we could put the numbers in, what the adopted budget amount was, because we don't get that. We just got what the adopted budget was, and it's for 2022 and it's zeros. And the proposed is one, is what the number that you guys are proposing. So it's difficult really to see what's going up and what's going down without those numbers.
Didn't they used to see that?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
result of changing from the J8130 to the enterprise systems. I don't have control over putting in the 2022 budget. So next year, if we stay with these budget lines, you will see the proposed 2023 budget, the previous year's budget numbers.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And that's something certainly the owners can take up with the city because this is the city's IT system that prints this report. And I did send in the email, I sent a conversion chart as far as the line numbers between the budgets. And, you could be provided with a current year budget report. In fact, they're on the website right now through August for tomorrow's board meeting. If you go to the board website, and on the open meeting law documents, that report will show you the history of the expenditures and the revenues year to date through August.
Any other questions?
Recording in progress. And instead of seeing that get torn down, seeing that maintained,
We lost you. It looks like there was some discussion that was maybe in a different meeting that was going on. We were talking about demolition.
All right. So are we done?
You gotta vote on it.
Need a motion and a vote if you want to adopt this tonight. Can you hear us, Marty?
This is Councilwoman Riley. I have a
There you go.
question.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We don't have a public hearing before we move to vote on the budget?
That would be up to the owners. It's never been done in the past since 2007 that I know of.
Okay.
So I'll make the motion to adopt the proposed budget. If that's in order.
As it was presented this evening with the revisions.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Councilman Strawn, are you chairing this meeting as the Finance Committee Chair for the council?
I didn't know I was, but I'm not the finance chair, but Councilman Scringy is not here.
Okay,
But,
well, you can do it as the council president, though.
okay. So what are you asking me to do? Just to have a vote on the? What else? Didn't last year, didn't we vote at a separate meeting after we had done this? To be honest with you, I'm not prepared to vote on this tonight. We just got the presentation, whether there's a public hearing or not. I'd like a chance to review, what was gone over, the changes that were made. I'd like to get a new copy of the budget with the changes in it. And I'll talk to the city about the format, but it seems to me there was no way to download this into Excel and put the. I got to pull out my last year's budget and look at. I thought that the other lines were in here, so we don't have to wait forever, and we can call another meeting, or we can vote, and I can vote against it. But last year we did not vote the night that we went over it. I know that.
Questions? Right.
So I'm not sure what the
Correct.
protocol is. Maybe that's my fault for not understanding it a little bit more. But I know last year we did the whole presentation down there, and I think we had one or two more meetings to go over different things before we voted on it.
We had 2 meetings. First one was held by the city of Binghamton, the second one was by Johnson City.
And then there was a Zoom.
Because they didn't have a quorum. That's why they had a second
Right,
meeting.
they didn't have a quorum, that's why we had the second meeting.
This is Councilmember Friedman. I'd also like to add that I think that it would be nice to give the public a chance to give their input as they're learning new information at the same time that we are. So I would also suggest or maybe request that we are able to vote on this at a different meeting, just so that the public has a chance to officially on the record give their thoughts and feelings about the budget.
That's totally up to your process.
They have a motion that was second. They have to get out of that first.
Or table it.
Somebody's got a table. Somebody's got to table the
I'm not
motion.
gonna tell them how to run their meeting.
We'd be here all night.
Bill, is Councilman Burns, Phil, are you going to table it?
Well, can I table? I didn't make the motion. Can I table the? Can I tell me, you want me to table the motion or the?
If it makes it an easier process, I'll just withdraw the motion.
Yeah, withdraw the second that. Yeah. So let's just reschedule a second meeting and invite the public to chime into it as well, so we can move forward.
Okay. Lee, are you still on? Are you on?
Should be on. He's on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on mute. Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. So can you work with everybody to set up one additional meeting to review any final questions and have a vote on the budget?
Yes, we could do that. Ed, I'm trying to find it in my notes. I can't seem to find the deadline that this needs to be passed by. Do you know it off the top of your head?
September 24th, which is a Saturday this year, so it would roll to the 26th, which is a Monday.
Which is 2 weeks out.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I don't know that you want to wait that long, but it's your prerogative.
Oh, I don't think we need to
No.
wait this long. I've had the documents for 10 days now, so I had ample time to review.
That sounds good.
We had time to look at it, but we didn't have any explanation on the lines or any crossover from any of the new changes or anything like that. So, no, we don't need to wait that long. Lee, do you want to just email people and pull them? And now we have some members probably from, I don't know about JCC. I know we have a few members that aren't with us. Or do you want to try to take a straw poll now?
That's up to you guys. if you want to do a straw poll now, but I can obviously work with the JC clerk.
That would probably be best to work with her and get dates circulated amongst everybody.
This is Councilmember Friedman. I'm wondering if we couldn't add this as an item to an already existing business meeting. I don't know the schedule of the Johnson City Board, but I know our next business meeting is the Wednesday, September 21st. Could this be an item on our agenda for that meeting?
If they start this beforehand.
I'm not sure exactly how to add it to a business meeting because our agenda is set in the code on what items we're supposed to consider.
So, well, would it then have to come to us during the work session on Monday, the 19th, and then get expedited for Wednesday, the 21st?
A special meeting.
No, we don't need any special, we don't need legislation to pass it or anything like that.
Yeah, this is a separate meeting. It's not expedited or anything like that. We just need to vote whenever we vote before the
Okay.
24th.
Well, I wonder if we couldn't do maybe a special business meeting, maybe at 5:30 on Wednesday, the 21st, or something like that, where presumably we all have this time blocked out in our calendar, or everyone in the Binghamton City Council has. Again, I don't know about Johnson City. If it has to be a special meeting on a different day, that's okay too. I just figure if we already have a meeting scheduled for that day, it might be easier if we are able to schedule maybe a special meeting at 5:30 or something like that. Just a suggestion.
And this is Councilman Burns. If we want the public to look at it, how do we release it to the public so they can look at it? And at our Binghamton next business meeting, if we release it ahead of that, we could, ask people to call in. That people call in with their opinions on a lot of different things at the beginning of our meetings, and we could hear what people have to say about the budget if they're interested. But how do we get it to the public? If we're postponing this so the public can look at it, how are we getting it to the public for them to look at it?
Councilman Burns, the city clerk has posted it on the city website.
For today's meeting.
For today's meeting, there's a multi-page handout.
Right, but
maybe Lee.
Personally, I don't know.
Lee Rogers can explain what the URL is to access that.
Yeah, I just don't know. I guess we could put it on our own pages, Facebook pages, or whatever, because I don't really know anybody that actually goes to that calendar. But
This is Councilwoman Riley. I think we mentioned earlier that the clerks could work together and secure a date. During that time, once the date is secured, we can definitely post it on our respective websites with the updated documents and ensure that the agenda contains a public comment session, since that is the concern of this body.
It's not the concern of this body. There's never been a public comment session to my knowledge.
Well, let's say a concern of a few members of the body. But so since the clerks are since that was an idea proposed earlier, and does everyone agree with the clerks working together to secure another date?
Yes.
Okay.
That's fine.
So then we can conclude now, allow the clerks to work to select a date, and we, the members that would desire a session for our public to comment, we can add that on the respective calendars so that they can either contact either clerks, their respective council member, or whatever, but it will be similar to how we post all of the information about our other meetings. Does that work for everyone? All right.
Thank you.
Lee, are we good?
Yes, so President Strawn, would you like me to add a public comment section to our next joint sewer meeting?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I will coordinate with the Johnson City Clerk and we'll we'll get the next meeting scheduled.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thanks,
Enjoy,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
Thank you.
Sorry I was
Thanks,
late.
everyone.
Bye.